Okay, we are on our Biology 101 guidebook, pages 22 through 38. We are beginning the 5th day, so we are discussing the aquatic kingdom. Just like we did for the 3rd day guidebook pages, I will be highlighting as we go along, as I read through this section in your Biology 101 guidebook. I will be highlighting the things that are very important that you need to remember for the quiz that will be in 2 weeks. So we are going to begin with the aquatic kingdom. The 5th day starts the creation of living beings. Plants are indeed alive, but this life is different. These creatures have a higher life essence about them. They can move on their own and display a degree of intelligence and self-motivation. We begin by examining God's population of the waters below, the aquatic creatures. Number 1, aquatics is the term used to cover all creatures living in water. Number 2, the creatures in the ocean and lakes were created in a single 24-hour period on day 5. Number 3, all aquatic creatures can be classified into 2 groups. Those with a backbone, which are vertebrates, and those without a backbone, which are invertebrates. And that sentence is one that you want to highlight or make note of. Okay, over on the side over here, you can see the note that says waterlands. Okay, so it says aquatic comes from the Latin word aqua, meaning water, and can be used to mean anything that grows or lives in the water. Other words that come from aqua include aquarium, aquarius, and aqueduct. Island means waterland. All right, and then we have this little chart here that says vertebrates. We have number 1, the boy, these are going to be hard words to pronounce, so I'm just going to do my best. So it's basically bony fish, Osteichthyes. Then we have number 2, cartilage fish, Chondrichthyes. Number 3, jawless fish, which are Agnatha. And that, I don't know that I can highlight it on here. Yes, I can. All right, so that is one that you need to know for your quiz. So if you can highlight that, it's Agnatha, which is a jawless fish. Okay, and it is a vertebrate. Okay, number 4, aquatic mammals. That's so much easier to say, but those are nursing animals. And then aquatic reptiles, which are creeping. So the mammals are nursing and the reptiles are creeping. Okay, and that concludes page 22. We'll move on to page 23 in your guidebook. And we will begin aquatic vertebrates. Aquatic vertebrates are what most people call fish, and for good reason. A fish is a cold-blooded water creature that has bones, fish, scales, and gills for breathing. And then we'll begin with the bony fish, and I won't even try to pronounce the O word, but number 1 is the bony fish. The word, oh boy, I will try to pronounce it, Osteichthyes, comes from 2 Greek words. Osteo means bone, and is where we get words like osteoporosis, which causes a reduction in bone density. The other word is ichthys, the Greek word for fish. B. Bony fish include minnows, goldfish, swordfish, tuna, salmon, bass, trout, piranha, herring, seahorses, and about 9,000 others. C. Oxygen gas is dissolved inside water, and gills absorb this oxygen so the fish can breathe. Now, this is something that you'll need to remember, that the fish's gills absorb this oxygen so the fish can breathe. And basically that is through the fish opening and closing its mouth. That is the way that they absorb the oxygen. Okay? Since water only has 1/30 the oxygen that air does, they must constantly pump water over the gills to get enough oxygen. We'll move on to D. A fish's nose is very sensitive to smell, even underwater. This is how they find food and smell their way home. E. Scales on a fish are transparent bone with ring segments indicating the age of the fish, just like trees. F. Fins keep a fish from tipping over in the water and allow them to swim and navigate. G. The air bladder is a fairly unique organ to fish, although some animals and even plants have air sacs. The air bladder is filled with gas and allows the fish to remain buoyant at various depths without struggling to stay there. Now we're going to go back up and we're going to look on the side over here. It says the IXOYE symbol. Ichthys is the English pronunciation of the Greek word for fish, which is spelled IXOYE. These 5 Greek letters are iota, chi, theta, upsilon, and sigma. As you can see, the Greek letters have a similar appearance to our English letters IXOYE. The early Christians used their word for fish as a clever acronym to spell I, Jesus, X, Christ, O, God's, Y, Son, E, Savior. Christians today continue the tradition using the IXOYE and the fish symbol to communicate their faith in the fisher of men, Jesus Christ. Okay, and let's move on to page 24. And we're continuing our conversation on aquatic vertebrates. And you can see up on the top, we will begin with talking about seahorses. A seahorse is a fish that looks nothing like a fish. They swim vertically and the male carries the eggs in a pouch, much like a kangaroo. Seahorses appear to mate for life. Some seahorses are actually poisonous. Then we have the deep sea fish. Most deep sea fish are bizarre and fierce looking. They usually have huge eyes or no eyes at all. They produce their own bioluminescent light in various patterns, depending on the species, and many, but not all, have long razor teeth. The high water pressure where they live makes studying and catching them extremely difficult. Deep sea fish tend to burst when they are taken to the surface because of the change to a lower pressure. Next, we look at the eel. Eels, there are hundreds of different kinds of eels. Their long, snake-like bodies produce a slippery slime, and most have no scales. The moray eel has sharp teeth, strong jaws, and are known to bite divers. Electric eels generate enough electricity to badly shock a grown man, 600 volts at 2 amps. And then the flying fish. It seems impossible, but these lightweight, fast-swimming fish can actually glide in the air nearly 500 feet. Sometimes 20 or 30 will suddenly burst from the surface and all glide together, then fall back into the water. All right. And before we read about the cartilage fish for number 2, the chondrichthyes, let's look over here on the side at the sharks and cartilage box. It says, chondrichthyes is a literal translation from Greek. Chondro means cartilage, and ichthys means fish. Shark is thought to come from the German word Schurke, meaning villain or wicked person. Sharks are mostly made of cartilage, which is a whitish, tough, elastic tissue that's more flexible than bone. If you gently twist your nose back and forth, you'll notice how rigid yet flexible cartilage is. Cartilage has a flexibility limit, which you'll also notice if you get too rough with your nose. Okay, let's begin section 2 on the cartilage fish. Chondrichthyes are regarded as fish, but their skeletons are made of cartilage, which is fairly soft and flexible, as opposed to bone, which is stiff and inflexible. B. Sharks have no air bladder, so they must always swim to keep buoyant. C. Rays are another chondrichthyes cartilage fish. The giant manta ray can grow 25 feet long and weigh 3,000 pounds. D. Smaller rays are anywhere from 5 inches to 7 feet across. And E. Rays tend to cover themselves in sand in shallow seawater. Most ray injuries occur when someone accidentally steps on a ray. The ray's tail can reach all the way to the front of their head for protection, wounding the intruder's foot or lower leg. Okay, moving on to page 25. Number 3, the agnatha, or the jawless fish. A. Agnatha are actually a type of cartilage fish and are sometimes classed with the other chondrichthyes. B. Lampreys are a terrible kind of fish. They have a round mouth with rows of rasping teeth. Gripping onto a living fish, they rasp into their skin and feed. C. Lampreys mostly live in the Atlantic Ocean, but have migrated and thrived in the Great Lakes area, causing a lot of damage to the local fish population. D. Like their name implies, hagfish are ugly, eel-like creatures. Fortunately, they eat only dead fish, but they also produce a thick, smelly slime all over their bodies. E. Agnatha rarely, if ever, bother swimmers. Then if you look in this box over on the left, it says no jaws. Gnathos is Greek for jaw. This is where we get words like gnaw and gnash. If you put the letter A before a Greek word, it means no. Thus, anatha means no jaw. So apparently you must not pronounce the G. Okay, moving on to page 26. We are continuing discussing our aquatic vertebrates, and we are on number 4, aquatic mammals. A. Carolus Linnaeus invented the mammal category to show that God used several common themes in creating many otherwise unconnected animals. B. Here are the design similarities that get you into the mammal category. Warm-blooded, hairy vertebrates nursed by milk from the female, often 2 pair of limbs, and a 4-chambered heart and large lungs. Now, this section you will need to remember what the qualities of, what the design similarities are for the mammal category, the aquatic mammals. Okay? All right, we are going to stop here for this video. I am going to pick back up on